pleased to have Chris Long here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Chris? You there, Chris?
Yeah, good. How are y'all doing?
I'm doing great, man. So what was that moment like for you coming up in a big game in the biggest rivalry that the Patriots and the Jets have?
Well, it was fun, man. Fitzpatrick had done a really good job all day getting rid of the ball with timing, and they're a good football team. And we just stayed at it, and, Fitzy patted the ball one more second there in the 2-minute, and I just stayed after it, and Trey did a great job of jumping on the ball, and DVs did a great job with coverage. So it was a team win. There was a lot that went into that play as well.
What has it been like being part of the Patriots organization after all those years with the Rams, Chris?
It's been a blessing, man. I've never played football this meaningful this late in the year, and it's why I wanted to come here. And it's like I said, it's been a blessing, and got a lot of great teammates, and it's been fun, man.
Well, we'll get to that in a second, but what has it – because we hear so much about the Patriot way, the Belichick way, and how different it is from other spots in the National Football League, and you are now still fresh to that scene. Can you pull the curtain back a little bit, and what has it been like in comparison to other situations for you, Chris?
I played for a lot of head coaches. Even though I was in one place, I played – this is my fourth or fifth head coach, so – I've dealt with change throughout my career, and this has just been one more. And it's certainly, I feel lucky to be here. I get to watch great players like Tom Brady, Gronk, guys like that, play with guys like Ninkovich, who I've watched for a long time, McCourty. This team has a lot of great leadership and a lot of hard workers. And it's no accident why I think they're always in it late in the year, and we're always in it late in the year. And now I'm getting to be a part of it, and I'm very lucky.
Well, Chris, you could just say, do your job. That's what that's
do your job.
That's the answer. I mean, I don't usually provide the answer to the questions that I have in an interview.
Yeah, do your job keeps it simple. So that's one awesome thing they got going on here.
Yeah, Chris Long joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. How did Brady take the Michigan-Ohio State game?
Not well, actually. It was funny. Nate Ebner, who's an Ohio State guy, we actually ended up, as always, when you're really into a college football game, into the end, the plane takes off and the internet's not up, So in that second overtime, the internet just dropped on the plane, and guys are freaking out, and guys are scrambling to get the game cast and all that. It was chaos, and I was watching a movie on my laptop without the sound, and I could just watch people's reaction, and Tom didn't seem happy. So it was obvious to me that, and I know you had a rough Saturday as well, that Tom was having a rough Saturday. But it could always be worse. You could always lose to Tech 52-10, and UVA hasn't won in 10 years against their rivals. So if that's any consolation.
So you mean to tell me you're taking off from Logan to New York City or Newark, I imagine, and as the plane's taking off on that short flight, that is when the second overtime between Ohio State and Michigan hit, and Brady had to go dark for a while on knowing what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, it went 0 dark 30, and I just really felt for those guys. They were very invested in that game. They were emotionally all over it, and all of a sudden, people are staring at their phones like their jaws dropped. And I think it was that third down where the kid was running around, and right before he got it on first down, I think that's where the TV went dark. And the kid's running around. But Tom kept his cool, and but at the end of the day, obviously the home team got the win.
Mm-hmm. So what emotions are you going to have going against the Rams this week, Chris?
Obviously I have a lot of great friends on that team. I have a lot of respect for what they do. They're a tough football team. I know that. I've been there. So it's going to be a battle, regardless of the record. And, it is a different week than usual because I played a long time there for me. But that's football. You're going to play against people that you know, and you have to be able to separate it.
Yeah, and Greg Williams, it sure looked like Sean Payton had something out for him yesterday, Chris. I don't know if you're able to see that because you were getting ready for your game. But
yeah, I don't get to keep up too much with the scores on Sundays, but yeah, I watch a lot of tape on them, and like I said, they're a tough football team. Regardless of the record or regardless of whatever happened yesterday, they've got a lot, and especially I know them well on the defensive side of the ball. So, but watching tape of their offense, other than practice tape, it's going to be a different experience for sure. But like I said, I know that team. They're a good football team, and they're tough, and it'll be a 60-minute battle.
But what was it like for you? Here you are, a St. Louis Ram for so long, and now the move to Los Angeles that had been rumored for so many years is happening, and you might get a chance to play in the same, building as your dad, and that opportunity does not happen. What was that? And I know everything's working out for you great in New England, as we saw in MetLife, but what was that moment like for you, Chris Long?
Well, and I talked about it a lot after I got released. It was just time. It was time for them. It was time for me. I had done everything I possibly could have done. The injuries added up the last couple of years, and I was getting paid too much to be there, not being productive and kind of gimping around. So it was just time. I'm a very realistic person, so I was able to move on pretty quick. But as far as the move was concerned, I never even, as a football player, you don't think about that stuff because it's time to move on. To whatever you need to get done this offseason, whether it's get healthy, get better, this, that, and the third. You can't take anything for granted and think about next year. So, I spent 8 great years in St. Louis. I was very appreciative of that place, great fans, good people, and good teammates. So, like I said, it definitely will be a different week in that respect. But at the end of the day, it's time, like you said, to keep it simple and do your job. It's going to be a 60-minute battle.
Okay. By the way, that was you just went. You don't have a card in front of you, right? Belichick doesn't give you a card for media members.
You served that up to me.
I did. What's going on with waterboys.org before I let you go, Chris? What's the scoop on that right now?
Yeah, Waterboys, we've talked about before. It's an initiative we started to raise money for clean water, and a lot of my peers are involved as well. It's been an interesting year kind of transitioning to a new market, but that's the goal, is to spread the word about the huge issue of lack of clean water around the world. So we're having an exciting fall, and one cool thing we're doing, it's our second year of doing this Conquering Killy campaign where I think you had Nate Boyer on. Nate Boyer. Mm-hmm. He's helped me pair retired NFL players with combat veterans and climb Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania. And last year we raised over $100,000 with Nate and a pair. And this year we've got more retired players. Just got Nick Hardwick signed on, Chad Brown. I'm going to go up and climb again. So we're going to raise a bunch of money, and it's for a great cause. It
sure is. Waterboys.org. Chris, keep on keeping on, man. Keep doing your job, right? Keep it simple. Just keep your head down. And I cannot believe that Tom Brady missed the end of that game because of. Doesn't he have the juice to basically?
I think the greatest of all time would have like a special internet connection or a backup.
Or at the very least, Brady can't go to Belichick and say, "Could we just not take off for like 10 more minutes?"
I was like, "Why don't y'all just ask the pilots to radio down?" I don't know, but nobody wanted to listen to me. It was a tense moment.
Thanks, Chris. You take care.
All right, y'all.
It's Chris Long.
He's the best.
Patriots defensive end. Fresh off of that big win taking on his former team. I asked him what it's like to play for Belichick.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.